Welcome to the deep dive. It often feels like we're just swimming in information, right?
Absolutely. Constant updates, headlines flying past.
Exactly. And it's really tough to figure out what actually matters, what connects, and, well, what you really need to know to make sense of it all. So that's what we're doing today. We're cutting through that noise. We've sifted through the big global headlines from the last 12 hours or so. That's Wednesday, July 30th, 2025.
And the idea is to distill it down.
Right. We've looked at sources like Reuters, The Guardian, Relief Web, Face-to-Face Africa, a pretty diverse mix. Our goal isn't just a summary. It's about pulling out those key insights, connecting those dots, and giving you that shortcut to being genuinely well-informed beyond just the surface-level stuff.
And it's more than just facts, isn't it? It's about seeing that bigger picture, how these events, even if they seem totally separate or far away, actually link up.
Yeah.
Understanding that helps you think critically about what it all actually means for you, for markets, for, well, everything.
Okay, let's dive right in. And we're starting with something pretty dramatic, a huge natural event.
Yeah.
Magnitude 8.8 earthquake off Russia's Far East. Now, 8.8, that's enormous.
It really is. Off the charts, practically.
Yeah, but my first thought was, okay, Russia's Far East sounds remote. But the impact, it sent tsunami warnings rippling right across the Pacific. We're talking Hawaii getting warnings, urgent evacuation orders for coastal areas there.
Wow.
So here's where it gets really interesting. What's the immediate global impact of an event like this, beyond the obvious danger zones? How does it connect so widely?
Well, first, that 8.8 number, it's hard to even grasp the energy relief. Think multiple atomic bombs. It's not just local shaking.
Right?
It displaces a massive amount of ocean water. That's why you get tsunami waves that can travel thousands and thousands of miles. So warnings in Hawaii, totally plausible, unfortunately.
So it's a real test of global readiness then?
Absolutely. It shows how interconnected everything is physically. An event there forces places like Hawaii, completely different regions, to react instantly. It tests warning systems, evacuation plans.
Communication, public response.
Exactly. All of it on a huge scale. It stresses global preparedness, supply chains potentially, even just awareness.
Okay, so from the earth-shaking, let's shift to human interactions, diplomacy, specifically the U.S.-China trade talks.
Oh, yes, the ongoing saga.
Well, there's movement. Senior officials met in Stockholm for over 5 hours, which sounds significant.
Definitely not a short chat.
And the outcome, they've agreed to postpone that tariff escalation. The deadline was August 12th. Now it's pushed back.
Kicking the can or...
Well, the reports suggest this sets the stage for maybe, just maybe, a Trump-Xi summit later in the year. So what does this truce, this postponement, actually signal for global trade? Is it a breather?
It could be significant. 5 hours suggests serious negotiation, not just a formality. Postponing tariffs rather than letting them hit is a clear de-escalation signal, at least for now.
For now.
Right. And the prospect of a leaders' summit. That's always a big deal.
Yeah.
It could potentially bring some stability or at least predictability back into what's been a very volatile relationship. It suggests both sides might be looking for an off-ramp or at least a pause.
Okay, a potential pause in economic tension. But elsewhere, a different kind of tension is escalating, and it's deeply concerning. We need to turn to Gaza.
Okay.
Major Israeli rights groups, and this is apparently the first time, have accused Israel of genocide in Gaza. This is happening alongside worsening starvation conditions.
Grim news.
Yeah, the UN Hunger Monitor is warning about a, quote, worst-case scenario famine unfolding, and the death toll reported has now passed 60,000.
60,000.
Now, just to be absolutely clear for everyone listening, we're reporting what these sources, The Guardian in this case, are saying. This includes the accusation from the rights groups and the UN warnings. It's crucial information, but presenting it isn't an endorsement of any specific viewpoint. We're conveying the information impartially.
And that's vital context. Adding to that, there's a significant diplomatic piece here, too. The UK Prime Minister, Starmer, has issued a warning.
What kind of warning?
He stated the UK will support Palestinian statehood at the UN unless Israel ends the war in Gaza, commits to two-state talks, and halts settlement annexation.
That sounds like a major potential shift from a key ally.
It absolutely is. It adds considerable international pressure and highlights the gravity of the humanitarian crisis, pushing hard for some kind of resolution. It's a significant diplomatic lever being pulled.
Okay. Let's shift now from geopolitics and crises to the corporate world. We're seeing some signs there, too. The mining giant Rio Tinto.
Big player. Iron ore. mainly.
Right. They've just logged their smallest profit in 5 years.
Oh.
First half earnings dropped 16%, down to about $4.8 billion.
16% is a noticeable hit.
And it seems linked to iron ore prices, which were down 15%. Consequently, they've slashed their interim dividend, down to $1.48 per share. That's the lowest payout in 7 years. Okay, let's unpack this. What does a mining giant struggle like Rio Tinto's actually tell us about the bigger economic picture?
Well, Rio Tinto's performance is a really good barometer for global industrial health. Iron ore is fundamental for steel, which means construction, manufacturing.
The building blocks of the economy, basically.
Exactly. So when their profits drop significantly, and especially when they cut their dividend that sharply, that's not just about saving cash. It signals management's own caution about the future.
Their confidence level.
Right. It strongly suggests that demand for basic industrial commodities is cooling off, particularly in places like China, a huge consumer. It can be an early warning sign of a broader economic slowdown.
That makes sense. An upstream indicator.
Precisely. Their pain often precedes wider economic shifts.
Okay, so from mining, let's look at finance. Another giant, HSBC, also reporting some difficulties.
Global bank, huge footprint, especially in Asia.
Yeah, and their first half profit tumbled 26%. That's even steeper than Rio Tinto's drop.
26%. Wow, what's driving that?
The reports point to write-downs, tied to a regional bank investment and also losses in the Hong Kong property market.
Ah, the Hong Kong property market. That's been a known pressure point.
Right, and this is apparently speeding up their plans for global restructuring. So what does HSBC's situation, especially that exposure to China and Hong Kong property, tell us about financial stability more broadly?
It really highlights specific regional vulnerabilities. Those write-downs mean they're officially recognizing that assets they hold, like that bank investment or property loans, are worth less now.
So acknowledging losses.
Yes. And the fact that it's tied explicitly to China and Hong Kong property shows the stress in those specific markets. But because HSBC is so globally interconnected, problems there don't necessarily stay there.
Right, ripples.
It can affect their lending capacity elsewhere, investor confidence. It's a reminder of how fragility in one key region can potentially impact the wider global banking system.
Interconnectedness again. Okay, so we've seen big mining, big banking. Let's go micro for a second. Something unexpected. Chocolate.
Chocolate. Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah, apparently Trump-era tariffs are having a weird side effect. They're putting U.S. chocolatiers at a disadvantage.
How so?
Because Canadian and Mexican producers are exempt under the USMCA rules. You know, the NAFTA replacement.
Ah, okay. The North American trade deal.
Right. So while U.S. makers might face tariffs on certain inputs, their North American competitors don't, giving them a price edge.
Interesting.
What's fascinating here is how specific policies, maybe even unintended details in trade deals, can have such a sweet or maybe not so sweet impact on a whole industry.
That's a perfect example of granular trade policy effects.
Yeah.
USMCA was meant to streamline North American trade, but this detail creates an uneven playing field within that bloc.
Yeah.
It shows how agreements can create these competitive imbalances, maybe affecting jobs, prices for consumers, all from a seemingly small detail in a massive trade pact. It's not just about the big picture tariffs we always hear about.
Affecting your candy bar. Who knew?
Exactly. The fine print matters.
Okay, zooming back out now to the macroeconomic level, global markets seem pretty tense.
Understandably so.
Central banks are key here. The U.S. Fed, Canada, Japan, they're all gearing up to announce interest rate decisions.
A big week for central banks.
And you can see the nervousness. Safe haven currencies like the yen and the Swiss franc, they've climbed, people looking for safety.
Risk-off sentiment.
And stock markets are just watching, especially corporate earnings reports, trying to get a read.
Yeah.
So connecting this to the bigger picture, what's really at stake with these upcoming rate decisions?
Oh, the stakes are incredibly high. These decisions fundamentally set the cost of borrowing money globally.
For everyone, businesses, individuals.
Absolutely. They influence currency values, hence the move into safe havens you mentioned. They shape investor decisions, take risks, or play it safe.
Yeah.
And ultimately, they paint the picture for the broader economic outlook. Will things speed up, slow down? It affects jobs, inflation, mortgages, everything.
So huge potential impact from these announcements.
Massive. They're trying to balance controlling inflation without triggering a recession. It's a tightrope walk.
Okay. Now let's look specifically at China's economic strategy. Their top leadership, the Politburo, had a meeting.
Right. Always closely watched.
And they've pledged to stabilize the economy. But their approach is interesting. They want to manage overcapacity in industries and also curb, quote, unfair business practices.
Overcapacity has been a long-running issue there.
But here's the key tactical point. They're apparently avoiding interest rate cuts. Instead, they're focusing on fiscal tools.
Fiscal tools. So government spending, tax policies, subsidies.
Seems like it. What does that choice, fiscal over monetary, tell us about their priorities and what it means for the rest of the world?
It suggests a more targeted approach. Interest rate cuts are a blunt instrument, affecting the whole economy. Fiscal tools can be aimed much more specifically at certain sectors or problems, like that overcapacity issue or promoting certain industries.
So less about broad stimulus, more about structural adjustment.
Exactly. They seem focused on managing specific imbalances and maybe reining in what they call disorderly competition. This could change the competitive landscape for international companies operating in or trading with China. It signals a focus on internal stability and control, perhaps over just raw growth numbers.
Interesting. More fine-tuning than flooding the engine.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, and sadly, we have to conclude our news review today with another critical humanitarian situation. This one's in Nigeria.
Okay.
Deadly flash floods in Adamawa State. Reports say at least 25 people have been killed.
Oh no, that's terrible.
And over 5,500 residents displaced. They've had to open emergency shelters in the city of Yola.
Just devastating. Flash floods can be so sudden and destructive.
It really underscores the human cost of these extreme weather events.
Absolutely. And it highlights the ongoing and arguably growing challenge globally, providing relief, building resilience, especially in regions that are often most vulnerable and least equipped to handle disasters of this scale. It's a constant, urgent need.
A stark reminder. So as we kind of pull back and look at everything we've touched on, it's quite a mix, isn't it?
It really is.
From a massive earthquake literally shaking the planet and triggering warnings thousands of miles away, to these delicate, high-stakes U.S.-China trade negotiations potentially shifting global economic currents.
Yeah, the contrasts are stark.
We saw Rio Tinto's profits dipping, maybe signaling wider industrial cooling, HSBC facing regional financial fragility.
Right.
And even how tariff details can unexpectedly reshape competition for, well, chocolate makers. And then, of course, the very real human tragedies in Gaza and Nigeria.
And threading through all of it is that theme of interconnectedness we talked about, whether it's physical, economic, political, or humanitarian. Nothing happens in a vacuum.
That seems to be the key takeaway.
I think so. And that's really the value of doing this kind of deep dive, isn't it? It's not just listing headlines. It's about seeing those connections, understanding the context.
Giving you the tools to make sense of it all.
Exactly. It helps you navigate this complex world, see beyond the noise, and grasp what these shifts might actually mean, potentially for you.
Yeah.
It moves you from just being informed to being, well, truly well-informed.
So a final thought for you, our listener. We've seen today just how quickly things unfold across the globe, how events ripple outwards, impacting everything from huge corporations down to, yes, chocolate bars, and tragically, leading to urgent humanitarian needs. After hearing all this, what aspect of this global interconnectedness strikes you as most surprising? And maybe how could you, or even your community, think about preparing for those inevitable ripple effects? Something to